Everybody, welcome in. This is our first live Womcast that we've ever done, which is really, really cool. So we're actually going to be talking today mainly probably about like the Red Dead side of things and how we've kind of like transitioned a little bit from GTA. Some of the differences that we're noticing. A lot of these guys that, all these guys here we've RP'd with in GTA alongside now in Red Dead too. So it's cool to talk about. So who we have here is that we've got Injustice on your top left that way. And then we got Lils above me, who plays Geo and also plays Waylon or Willie or whatever Ron calls him. And then we've got Ron, aka Jack White, right next to me. So that's who we're rocking with. So I appreciate you guys coming on and doing this, especially live, dude. This will be fun to talk about all this. I'm so curious to hear what you guys like think about Red Dead and all that kind of stuff. We've done a week now of Red Dead. I mean, give or take, you know. But yeah, we've done about a week now of Red Dead, which is like actually insane. So yeah, what are you guys thinking? Just whoever go first and boom, you know.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Well, it was like I think maybe a month ago we kind of like talked about the idea of doing it, and it was like an on and off idea. We really wanted to do it, we just weren't sure when. We kind of hit that rut in GTA where it was like kind of boring. In a way, just GTA, not necessarily like what server we're on, just kind of everyone's kind of like, it's like stale in a way. So going over to Red Dead, it's been like a lot of fun though. Like I think everyone's trying either like a new character, a new voice, or either both or a little bit of like one or the other. And then everyone's like trying something new. You have to, it's immersive, just the game's time frame that you have to try something else. You can't really say like, bruh. There's not a lot of like online gangsters that you run into, which is nice. Like everything's really refreshing, honestly.
Online gangsters.
I mean, come on, you agree, right?
Outlaws, mate. No, I completely get it.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So I think the big thing is, in the end of the day, the time frame is a very big thing. So people are playing characters that are playing themselves, and I don't know. A big thing about it has been like shit. Every time we end up running into people, it just always feels like a quest.
Yeah.
You just got to do like the smallest task ends up being like the biggest quest, which can be long, but then on the other hand, it can be full of really, really good RP. And I don't know, at times it can be really fun. And to be fairly honest, I don't know if you guys had the same issue, but I wasn't too sure when we was like changing it up a little bit if this was really going to be our pacing. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's been really enjoyable just to slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
And not just that, as I said, everyone's playing a character. So you can sort of add a little bit of goofy and weird. And, you know, like, I don't know. You can sort of make a very spontaneous character and people ain't going to take it seriously. Even if you wanted to go, like, to the side of where it could be a little bit borderline. But I feel like people would always know that it's a character that you're playing. And in GTA, it's a little bit different. Because, I guess it's happened to you guys many times. You might be speaking to someone and it's like, fuck. Am I speaking to his character or am I speaking to him?
Yeah.
And at least I've not run into that. So that's been cool to see too.
Yeah, I feel like the people are a lot more like their characters are a lot more genuine and like their stories behind them. It's been like I've been playing Geo for a long time, and it's really refreshing to be able to like play someone else and not have to do the Geo voice and slow it down and get to learn Red Dead. So it's been like I've really been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah,
just being someone else and like meeting new people and the interactions we've had so far on there have been like so much fun.
It's kind of interesting because it almost like forces you into like creating a character and just like playing out the and I feel like even when we lose, it's just still fun and it's just still an interesting like process. Like the robberies that we've had have been just like an absolute shit show, and like just like I'm still having a blast with it, and I don't know. I think yeah, it forces you into just having that mindset of character like over everything else. I don't know if that's like everyone will run into. I don't know if that'll be every single person that we see or whatever, but yeah, I guess it does. What do you guys feel like was? I mean, you don't have to like get too far into it, but like, what do you guys feel like was some of the reasons you would want to try Red Dead over, you know, like playing more GTA or like what was some of the things for you?
I think the newer engine for the game, it's a entirely different game than like GTA 5. So it's really, really nice seeing like those beautiful, like when we were sitting there looking at that sunset earlier, it's like something we don't get to experience in Grand Theft Auto, just because of the older engine. So the fact that it's a newer-ish game on a newer engine, and it like looks totally different, and it's in this beautiful landscape, has been
Not
like
even
really,
just-
really cool.
It doesn't even just look different. It looks very, very, very immersive.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
bruv, I don't know if it's just because I might be stoned or whatever, but I always be running into these locals, and I'm talking to locals 24
all the time.
thinking it's someone, and I'm just going, "Good day, gentlemen," just in case, because I'm like, "Fuck, is this a person? Is it not a person?" And it really does trick you, because I don't know, even like just the poses, like the character models look better, but even their poses, it feels like it's a lot more lively. And me and Harris was having this conversation too, but it seems like this high stakes isn't as big population as other servers, but it feels full everywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
Like maybe not in the woods, you know, because maybe you're hunted in the woods.
Yeah.
But in everywhere where you want to try find people, it seems like we can actually find people. It's been, I don't know, quite cool.
I think that was one of the things we kind of talked about, me and Nick, when we first were like looking for servers. We're like, we go for these public servers that have like 200, 300 or whatever. But then it's almost like, that's almost like too much for Red Dead, right? You kind of need like, you know, an empty wilderness, and then like you go to the towns to kind of find people. And like no matter what town you go to, like even you guys just now in the desert, like you're on the farthest side of the map finding players. You know what I mean? Like no matter where you go, there could be 80 people, 70 people. It seems like everyone's really trying, and like you can find them no matter where you go.
I feel like when you have like that many people, like 400 people, it's just so hard to control like quality. You know, like it just in any facet, it's just so difficult to control quality. And not that you want to like have too much control from like an admin perspective, but you also want to have like, I don't know. I just feel like every time I've had like, I played GTA, and then they like, a server will be like, you know what, we're going to up it by 50 slots, guys. No big deal. And then it's like, all of a sudden the floodgates are open, and every single person you didn't want to RP with is now in the server. And you're like, my God, bro. And I just think, it's, it feels like a good balance. And I feel like it feels like, I'm surprised, because sometimes there's like less than 100 people in the server, but it's like a huge map, and we'll go to like Tumbleweed or something.
Finding people.
And we'll find some. I'm like, bro, it makes me think sometimes. I'm like, with 150 people on that GTA map, I'm like, where the hell is everyone, bro? You know, like, where is everybody? I don't like.
Not even just that, even like 400 players. I've played on GTA before, and it still doesn't feel as full. Here it feels like everywhere we want to go, we find someone.
Yeah, I think,
and it's really cool.
Like all the shops, like the survival aspect that Red Dead has, like the only places you can get important things or like food or anything you need is in like a hub, where GTA doesn't really have that, right? You have like convenience stores everywhere, you have gas stations everywhere. Everyone kind of like stands in a circle in some like motel or like compound on GTA.
Yeah.
And it's like, even finding a hostage, you have to like search for minutes and minutes. Like for GTA, it's like you would expect to run into people all the time on GTA, and you really only run into the people in your own gang on GTA, which is kind of like a big difference on Red Dead.
Yeah. It's
I wouldn't even say like GTA is bad or anything. I feel like just if you've been doing it for so long as well, the time's going on to a complete different game. It's very refreshing. Like DayZ RP, I remember doing DayZ RP a very long time ago, and it seemed a bit strange off the bat, but actually was really, really good. That it was completely full of storylines, and it reminded me a little bit of Red Dead. But yeah, just the time switching it up, changing platforms, and I don't know, just having a feel for other things in different paces.
Yeah.
It's just very refreshing, and I feel like that's what's happening at the moment to us.
I think though there is completely different cultures on the two, right? It seems like. Now I have been in some like servers like early on when I was trying to find servers before I played like this server. Like early on, where it was just a bunch of people standing in Blackwater and just not even really, there was no role play. It was just like VR chat is what people would say.
Yeah.
And I think, realistically, there is like different cultures and different like servers, but even like GTA to Red Dead, where it seems like GTA has become like a lot more about mechanics based RP versus like Red Dead. It feels like you really need to create that. Like you need to create the storyline yourself, you know? Like to me, like the jobs are cool, but in Red Dead, but like they ain't as cool as like the in between conversations that are happening and like the improv between different like players and stuff is just like so much better.
Yeah. Well, even getting a job in Red Dead is a completely different thing than like GTA, right? Like all your like civ jobs, if you will, like on Red Dead, you have to go to some player to like get the job pretty much. I mean, there's like a few that like you don't need anyone, but like working the ranch or like all those like jobs that we've been trying, like you have to go to somebody. You can't just sign up and then, you know, make money. And that alone is just like you're forced to like talk to somebody, kind of like prove yourself as like a character.
You
have to
Frank.
RP.
Yeah.
Ended up even getting like a trade to where we even, I don't know, ended up having someone where that character can fit. Mr. Frank was, what was he saying to us? He was
The crocodiles and
he was
stuff,
saying
bro.
something
Feed us
about
the
like the
crocodiles.
alligators or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys missed
Is-
that, like anyone listening, if you guys missed that, basically like it was the character where we're working for him at the ranch now, and all of a sudden he starts saying stuff where he's like, "Yeah, we'll feed people to the gators," and I love like swimming with these like out like the gators and stuff, and we're like, "Bro, this guy's freaking menacing and crazy, bro." And we're like, we don't want to piss off this boss now, dude. He might feed us to the gators. But I think it's you just see so many. Like right now, at least maybe it is like a high stakes thing, or maybe it is like just a Red Dead thing overall. But I'm just running into tons of different characters
Yeah.
in like actual
Now, the
people playing
PD
characters.
thing seems strange though. Like the whole way the PD system works on like just Red Dead in itself.
Yeah,
Because it's like
I don't know
you're on a
how it
horse.
exactly works, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
do
even know
agree.
what like a lawman looks like. I would if you lined up 10 people, I would not know which one is a lawman, and it'd just be like, oh well,
Bro, it's
regular
so
old guy,
hard.
whatever. Yeah,
Before I don't know what scene we had. We had a scene where I went to prison, but like before, some like a lawman had me at gunpoint, and I was on my horse. But I was like, shit, I need to value my life, don't I? In GTA, it's different. You're in your car, you're driving away. You know, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a gun to me, and I was like, well, fuck, now I need to put my hands up. So I put my hands up, and it seems like someone else ended up nearly blowing his head off. when he,
Oh,
like,
so
ran away.
yeah, I was gonna get to that, but that was me in a bush. I watched the whole thing, and I saw you at gunpoint, and I was like, well, screw it, I'm gonna take the shot. So when I'm shooting the guy in the back, trying to give you a chance to get out because you
It was,
ran
no,
right
it was
past
really,
me.
really good, man. And even
Yeah,
like
I
the
tried.
combat system, I think you shot him once and he didn't go down. So I like tackled him
Wow.
on the ground and ended up saying sorry or something. I shot his head off. But basically, it was like, I don't know, it just wasn't quick to the fact where you're down instantly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that guy
you
ended
can
up getting
take a
shot.
few
He ended up
shots.
having a little bit of a fight. I don't know. It seemed like it lasted all a little bit longer than what it needs to. And at times that's cool. Because yeah.
It was
Yeah,
very
the Red Dead
dramatic.
is cool.
It's cooler long enough the scene than making it just some really short, really like, I don't know, sad just scene.
So
So yeah, I don't know. It has been good.
I guess what has been the most like difficult part of Red Dead, or like what is the most like difficult piece of the puzzle for you guys when it comes to Red Dead?
Probably just the whole like crime system, like robberies and whatnot. It makes sense in GTA, like how to commit a certain crime or something like that. But in Red Dead, I feel like I'm just kind of lost in terms of
You're like the timing on this fire truck is like crazy.
yeah, right. Yeah, Long Beach at its finest. But yeah, I feel like the whole crim system, it's been really challenging trying to like learn what to do, and when we ran into like everybody being tight-lipped about lockpicks and stuff like that, like it just makes it so much more hard to learn, and like it makes me want it more, because if I can't get a lockpick anybody, and we spent that whole day looking for lockpicks.
Bro, that whole day.
It makes it like so rewarding to finally just get like a little piece of that puzzle. So for me, it's just the whole like criminal aspect is totally different, because there's just so many parts that you can't find, because you have to ride a horse around an entire state just to get told no, and ride back to the other side of the state to get told no again, and then you ride back, and then finally someone's like, "Yeah, I'll stand you over $3," and then cool,
Yeah.
great. Now we have the next piece, and it's like, well, how do we do it now? So it's been really fun, like learning everything.
I feel like
Yeah,
on
it's pretty good.
GTA, everyone kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just a server we've played on and like other servers we played on, but like on GTA, it seems like like even Prodigy, like this isn't like a shot at anyone, but like all the servers, people will like help you almost instantly, even if you're in like a rival gang. They'll like, you could ask them how to like rob a bank. They'll like explain everything for you. But then you go to like Red Dead and it's like, you kind of have to like build like a reputation with each character in a way. I mean, some people are just going to say, hey, yeah, here you go. But like on Red Dead, people like, they just like, you have to actually gain trust in a way, you know. People won't like just give you the piece of the puzzle right away. It's very interesting.
Is it hard for you guys to settle in, like, because we're RPing with some of the same people, right? But it's different characters.
Yeah.
So like there was a particular scene that happened today with like Waylon, right, where he comes up to Leslie and he's like, what the hell were you saying to these guys? Because like Leslie just hates the people in like Saint Denis, and like I was just playing it like, this guy's like saying, oh, that guy looks, yeah, the smart looking guy over there. And I'm like, that's what smart looks like to you. And then like Waylon's like, what the fuck? You know, like Leslie just can't like, he can't fathom.
No filter.
Yeah, just being down. Well, it's not really like, it's just like in that area, you know, it's kind of like how I'm just trying to play it. But it was a cool scene because I don't know if that scene would happen between like Gio and Nick on GTA. Like it might happen, it might not, you know. Also, obviously,
we're like in a different position, you know. Like we don't on GTA, we know all the answers. But on Red Dead, we're like fighting for scraps, trying to find an answer for anything. So like when you were like, is that what smart looks like? I was like, yo, this is our hand reaching out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bring it down. We could talk our trash after we get the answers we need.
Well, and like outside, it's kind of funny because outside I knew that was the people. But I like my character just wouldn't know, so I'm just like, let it roll, baby, you know, like. But it's just how has that been? Kind of like, I guess going over that like from GTA to Red Dead, and we know each other really well like outside of the characters, but like, how do you still play that character? You know, where we're supposed to not really know each other that well.
Yeah, it's been so difficult not calling you Nick or Jack. You know, I'm like,
that's why I keep calling you Wally.
Yeah, I'm like
calling you Gio.
I have to like slow down, and I guess it's like relevant to the time period, but like I have to slow down and like think before I acknowledge you, because I want to say Jack or Nick because I've been RPing with you guys on GTA for so long. That's what I know you as, but I really have to like slow down and like think about the sentence I'm about to say so that I don't break that like wall of being in a different time period on a different server. I don't know you from anything else but, you know, Leslie and Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Jack? What do you think about that?
I think.
Oh, I said Jack, but
did you say Jay or Jack?
Jack.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't call you Jay, bro. I wouldn't call you.
You
just did like 20 minutes ago.
For a second, to be honest. Sorry,
No, yeah, Jack. Yeah. Well, I was thinking like because I think you and I had a scene like this too, where we had gone up and we were talking with James, you know, and then like I kind of brought up like, yeah, well, Ron and I barely know each other as well, you know, like it was just kind of, I don't know, it's weird to like role play that out a little bit.
I did the same thing with James too, but I feel like it's cool because it adds on as well, you know, and it makes it a little bit more natural.
It's hard. It's hard to like play out though a little bit though. I think at least, but
I think
the strange thing is like usually, I don't know. We would basically say like one thing's going to happen and it would happen. I remember today we had a job happen where I think you was there, Gio. I think basically James wanted to. Well, I told James was going to put the horses on like some other side because it was like this really cool sort of run. Obviously, it wasn't as quick to get to the horses, but you know, it's like cool for the content and stuff. It like looks cool. I thought it would be a cool little
escape plan.
But I think they put their horses in a different place or something in the end after I told them to put it there. On GTA, that would have happened. We would have all had it in the same place. So it was very unorganized. And they ended up going through the tunnel, and I was like, bruv, I can't even see them. I'm running around, you got Ron like just so lost. And I don't know, I've just been embracing the unorganized side of everything. Because it takes time to progress, and in the end of the day, you don't want everything to be perfect straight off the bat. So just like learning all the jobs, the communication and the chemistry between the characters. Because even though all of us know how to communicate between each other while our GTA characters, it seems like it's going to be a whole new, I don't know, way of learning just between these characters. Because even though it's the same people, they're different characters. Or was that Joey?
I think that's kind of just Red Dead in a way, because on GTA you would just say on the radio, like, you know, like they might be too far, but you would just say on the radio, hey, let's do that. You know what I mean? Like the organization is there on the radio. You can just like instantly talk to somebody. But with Red Dead, it's kind of like once you're 5 feet away from them and they're going, you know, lawmen or after, it's like, it is what it is. Like,
I experienced that.
Everybody, you know,
I experienced that just sitting in the tunnel. Like, when are they going to come? I don't.
There's
I
no
mean,
way for us to communicate.
Bro, I'm like,
that.
so
like,
I'm like,
they're looking for a hostage.
I'm like, I have no idea when they're gonna come here. I don't know if they've been shot down. I don't know if they've been taken hostage themselves. Like, I have no clue. I'm just like sitting there waiting for horse hooves, you know. And you're like, I started to think while I was there. I'm like, man, I don't know if this is gonna be a possibility to do blocks like this because of the time that like someone else has to sit here. I was like, and the worst part of it is that you're just wondering, you know, like when. I don't know when. I mean, it might be happening in a second. It might be happening in like an hour. I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
And so I think it's it is. That is the challenging side of Red Dead, is you can't always communicate. But I think I love not having a phone or radio all day. I'll be real.
Absolutely. I love not like
We're in
if we're gonna
GTA.
take a hostage, they don't radio, you know, like, hey, I'm getting taken, you know, it's like it's authentic and it's in the moment, and it's just you and the person you're trying to take hostage and the giant, you know, wilderness around you. So it makes every like interaction a lot more like authentic because there's no way out. Like it's you fending for yourself.
I remember on GTA on the first server we all met, I had met a man. He worked for Pegasus, and he had such an interest in like just trait in his character. And basically, I think it was me and Doc who met him, but his like trait was that he would never carry a phone. No one had his number, but he would carry a radio. But yeah, I don't know. It was really, really cool to see how a character would work even on GTA without having to use just a phone. I'm guessing obviously Red Dead you don't even get a radio. But another thing is like, even if someone disconnects, it's like, how do you know if they're actually gone or if they ain't gone?
Dude, for real.
How do you know if
don't.
someone's around? You don't give someone a call randomly. So what I've been doing is just telegramming everyone on my telegrams. Because it's like you don't know who's around, your character don't.
Well, even like the other day, like the wagon like despawning because of the time thing wasn't what happened, but like I had no way of like explaining that in character, that like the wagon just froze, kind of, you know, like there's like a mechanic that like in GTA you can kind of like loosely explain, even like saying like, hey, what's your email? I need to like email, you know what I mean? Like with Red Dead, it's like you can't really explain any of these things, you know. You kind of have to just like, it's so hard honestly just to say like some sort of scuff happened, you know what I mean? You really can't. You really have to be like really cautious with how you say things.
Like someone came by and stole my horses or something. What do you even
like? It still has to be like relevant to the period that we're in, because we can't, you know, say like it glitched out or something like that, because glitches didn't happen back then because they didn't have computers. So we had to find a new word for it.
It was so funny. I think Gio, he started having issues with his mic.
Oh my
and he was in the
God.
doctor's office. And there was someone trying to basically treat him. They was having a scene. And I was just trying to basically help Gio out a second. But I was sort of interfering by saying, Gio, like, come with me a second. Because he sounded horrible. Like, you know, when
Dude, we heard it. We heard it on another occasion. Dude, it was
What's going on with that,
crazy.
man? There's a big
But
frog stuck
basically-
in my throat.
There you go. I was trying to let him know. And the woman was sort of getting annoyed. And I was like, sorry. I was like, I just try to explain to him. He sounds like shit. And he got it sorted in the end. But yeah, it's just so hard even just to explain them small little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been cool. I've really enjoyed it. Even like the small things on the reg, even just going and, I don't know, growing these plants or whatever, which is stuff that our character doesn't even want to do, but he's doing it for the quest and the storyline of finding out
Yeah.
if maybe this man has got like a contraband license, and then it can lead on to another thing, and then I don't know. It
Well,
just seems really cool.
Yeah, it's yeah, like I like how you say that everything's a quest. I think that's a very good way to explain like the role play side of things, but also as like the RPer, I think you have to like realize that very early on so that you can stretch out those like little storylines each day, and you can kind of like you know, make those into something like that. Like a hunting trip can be a whole storyline, and like, you know, mining can even be something interesting or whatever. When normally on like GTA going mining, I would want to like just like pull my eyeballs out of my skull, you know. And here it's just different, man. It's just freaking different. But I want to hear about like what your guys' thought process was when you were making your characters. I think that's something that is kind of cool to talk about. like going over from GTA to Red Dead? Did you like look up some stuff? Did you research? Were you just like, you know what, I think this will work, or what were you thinking?
Gio, you want to go first?
Sure. I guess it was kind of easy for me because I listen to a lot of Western kind of music. You know, I grew up in the South, so like country, and I grew up on Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, which is who I got my name from. So I you know, for me, it was like the music that I listened to growing up. I took inspiration from that, and one of the people I listen to the most is Waylon Jennings. And my name is Scott, so I just gave him my last name.
You're not that guy.
Yeah,
pal.
it was
Trust
just for me. It was just
You're
like the
not
music
that
I grew
guy.
up listening to. It was basing it off of all that music.
Yeah.
And that's it.
For me, me and good old Stuart or Bakes, we played like honestly probably like a year ago, and at the time I kind of just did like a J voice, but just like with the Western accent. And then this time around, like making the character, I knew that like from GTA I play like a crazy or like an extreme side of character, like the voice is kind of extreme than what you run into. So I knew I wanted to kind of just use my normal voice and kind of just be like kind of like a normal voice in the group where it allows like other characters to kind of shine or like be different by just being kind of like a basic voice, if you will. So I knew I would just use my normal voice. But then I thought of things like Kane does we do like the bad shot thing where like I purposely just spam shoot or things like that. Like I try to just think of like defects for a Red Dead character, and that's kind of just like what I thought of. I'll use that kind of voice, and then I knew like I purposely miss shots, or like even in a gunfight, I really hope we do get into a gunfight one day where like I see it as like it would be so funny if Kane is the last one up, and like I'm just gonna purposely miss like every shot still, and like try to continue on with that kind of thing. But that's kind of my thought process behind it.
I just want to let you all know my defects are just I walk behind the horses purposely. I totally do this.
Really?
On purpose.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's all
do you mean?
purposely.
Yeah.
You don't believe me?
I'm sure.
No, it's actually been hilarious though, walking behind these horses. But for me, it's been different
Yeah.
because, at least as an English person, with the Western movies that I've watched, you depict them all speaking American. You can tell that a lot of the voices are the same that you may have now, but they're just very slow, so they speak very slowly. But it seemed very strange to make like an English character. So I don't know. I jumped on like a random server. I made like a bit of a troll character, and I'm still sort of going with it. See where I want to take the character. See how it needs to modulate his voice. If it wants to be a little bit more to the grim side or more to the civ side, I don't really know. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really been hard to adapt towards it.
I think you've done a great
I
job
think
with
it's just
that,
going
with
with
that
the
character.
wind.
I think it's been awesome. I think it's been a lot of fun to see. I think it's been cool to see everyone like swing for the fences a little bit and just like, because sometimes in GTA, man, you can just get away with like, I don't know, some of yourself slips into it, you know, and you're just like going and you go long enough to where it's like boom. But you know, when I'm talking like Leslie all day, or like we're in just the Wild West all day, it's just so much harder for that to happen. And I just think setting is a huge thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the character creation I think that everyone's done has just been so cool to see. Like even like, I don't know if you guys have seen Dougie's character yet, or
I'm very
bro.
excited for it.
Bro, it is so freaking funny, man. He like, yeah, it's just such a good freaking character. He was like a character who can't ride his horse. I think it was mainly because he didn't know how to get on the horse, like at all, or maybe it was like the glitched out thing where he couldn't get on or something. Yeah, he's just like acting like he can't ride the horse. He's from up north, like way up north, you know, because he's like actually from like Canada and stuff. And he's like, bro, he was like, I want to be a real cowboy. You know, I read in the books about cowboys, and I'm like, please just stop saying that. Stop, you know, like just please stop.
Yeah.
And it's just so good, man. And so I think, I think that's what's been a really good like portion of this. I don't know how long this whole like Red Dead era will last, you know, but just seeing everybody like swing for the fences creatively is cool. But for me, Leslie, I had made Roy. And I really liked like using that voice in particular. And so I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool to play like an ancient, or not ancient, but like a you know, an old, like a relative of his or whatever. And I think for me, I kind of like changed the voice a little bit to be a little bit more unhinged and kind of like a little bit more like he's like out there in the boonies kind of a thing. And just kind of played that from there. I want him to be like a full on like just kind of cowboy that is not like we said already, but he doesn't like people from like Saint Denis, and it's just like he doesn't like where the world is heading, but he's trying to stay away from where that world is heading as much as he possibly can. And but yeah, so one of the rules I did for him though is like completely loyal once he finds his people. Like so, like once he finds his people, it's like kind of ride or die. So it'll be interesting to see. I kind of opened up like normally with Crims, like on GTA, I'm like I don't want to do any like legal jobs, but with Roy or not with Roy with Leslie, it's kind of just different. I think. And Red Dead's just different too.
Leslie, it's like Red Dead is different, yeah. Like
yeah,
when it comes down to it, it's like fuck. If you don't do these legal jobs, you're gonna be stuck with very small amount of, I don't know. I wouldn't say interaction, but I just feel like you won't be able to benefit from the whole game in itself.
Yeah.
Like even finding out these things from this Frank guy, it's for an illegal cause, but you're going through a legal job to find it, because this guy who does things illegally actually does things, you know, legally too on the side, which is cool because in GTA it was a lot of like, I don't know, not even just on the server, it was on a lot of servers. It's not just one server issue. That most of the gangs are owned, you know, by these, like they got big businesses and they've got all this stuff. And I feel like, I don't know, here it's played off in a bit more of a professional manner.
I think it's like a shady business, right?
Yeah. So it feels more like they're actually trying to become a shady business instead of, you know,
just being a criminal-owned restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like it's a side business kind of thing. Like you're hustling. You know,
look, I'm gonna just say it, bro. It's a money printer for most people in GTA. You know what I mean? Like reality is like within at least within like rush hour, it kind of has turned into that a little bit. Like it's like I don't know. It is an awkward thing because there's not like a civ population in a lot of ways, and that it's kind of like a hard. It is hard though because like if they weren't doing that, then who's gonna even run those like restaurants or who's gonna actually do that kind of stuff, you know? And so I understand both sides of it, but in here it's cool to see that like civ is the way of life, and then you like pushes you into some other areas, and I think some people will overdo it. They'll like grind the hell out of mining, or they'll grind the hell out of something else, and they'll just get like super rich and be like whatever. But I think where the best way to like serve your character is just to, you know, just see who you meet, and kind of that drives you to that next place. But
I don't know if it's just GTA. Like you kind of like what you said. You kind of get like your standards on GTA after the years and years and years. You kind of like slowly drop where like we kind of wake up. We know we're gonna do a job on GTA. We're gonna do this. But like on Red Dead, it's kind of like I'm finding it where it's like I'm like playing the character as if like it really is like a full like life kind of experience where it's like you go to work, you go hunt, you do like all these tasks, and it kind of like slowly builds like your story over time. Where I think like the GTA side is like everyone kind of like, I don't know, it's like the story on GTA is just kind of gone, maybe just because like we've done it for so long. Like you have these characters on GTA, but kind of like the story behind them kind of fades, where like Red Dead, it's like I feel like the story is only promoted in Red Dead kind of thing.
Yeah, it might just be where we were finding ourselves, whether it was, you know, GTA as a whole, or or a particular server, or just us, you know what I mean? Like we just planned it for so long and we need to like create a reset. But I think it's I don't know. I honestly don't know which one of those three it is more of, you know? Like I think personally, like I feel like on GTA even I'm trying to create stories, you know what I mean? But I mean like I'm gonna be real, man, like we go through GTA and it was like, how long did we do the blue game, right? And it's like, then like, I mean, I could say I'm on Twitch. So yeah, the meth game is what we were doing in GTA. If you guys have just started watching me on Red Dead.
Oh fuck! People on TikTok.
I know.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm not on TikTok right now, so we're good. But yeah, like we were doing that, like a whole like operation around it and everything. And I mean, and even like it had been told to us that it got snitched on, and it never even was like there was no other RP on the other side of it from like another like from like the police side of things, you know? And it's just like I feel like if that happened in Red Dead and like somebody snitched on like an opium thing of people, I personally feel like those people would be like hunted down.
Oh yeah, and we would be tracked to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
and taken away.
And that's what I just feel like I don't know, that could be a server issue. It could be it could just be like maybe I personally I don't think that particular one's an us issue because it's just we were trying to like actually get caught. But I think it's just it's cool to be in a place where we're able to create stories, and then the other side of it, not even just the law or whatever, but the other side of it wants to create stories player to player. And we're gonna run into some people who don't, but yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, but for the people that want to create things, remember, even like on GTA, we've done this for so long. I remember you at least changed it off for Leslie, but Gio, at least you was with us in the other server when we was doing the other server when we was doing the crew, and we was doing so many of these heists, and every time it was plan after plan after plan after plan after plan after plan after plan, and it was like, bro, we've done so many of these fucking plans by now, and then even after with you guys,
they blacklist
so many crazy plans we've done, and it's like, how many times can we think of using a parachute this way? How many times can we think of using a truck this way? How many box trucks are we going to use? Because we've stuck boats in there, we stuck fucking cars in there, we stuck everything that you can possibly ever think of in the game.
How many things can we put in a freezer truck?
It's like at the end of the day, you've got tools that you can use to create, and we've worked around all these tools in so many crazy manners, which has been really fun. But at times it's like, shit, you're going to take a little bit of a break, because if not, you're using exactly the same tools and it can feel a little bit repetitive, even though you're using the tools in different manners to create different things. But yeah. It's been cool now just to refresh. And now we're like, what about if we can use a wagon? Or if we can find a bigger wagon? Or what could we do with this wagon? Could we maybe jump onto this wagon when we move in? Then you go look for the Lazoo, because the Lazoo plan that we had was cool as well, where they go under the bridge and we just throw the Lazoo at them.
Oh, the lasso.
The lasso.
Bro, I have never heard of that pronounced like that.
I thought about the little like.
I was like,
I thought you were talking about a boat.
We call it a Lazoo. In Spanish, at least. I thought it was Lazoo in English.
I want to start saying it like that, honestly.
You got my Lazoo.
Where can I get one of them Lazoos?
Yeah, that's good, bro. That's good.
You know, you spin it around and you catch them.
Dude, that plan though was sick, because we were gonna. I wonder if we'll ever do that, but it was like you rope them from up above. And like, dude, it actually kind of scared me in real life, because I was like gonna see if James could do it, because I think like Ron was trying to do it, right? And then James did it to me, and it was just like
he did it first try.
Bro, I like got launched back. I was like, I felt like I was so immersed, bro. I literally felt my ribs crack. You know, it was kind of crazy, dude. But it was insane. It was like, it's just the world is so
funny. Something about like a burn mark or something.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And
I think just the plan, like you said, I think we all kind of wanted a creative reset, or just like a game reset, because like most of us, I just figure like everyone that's been playing GTA has been playing for years, right? GTRP has been out for a long time. I think just like the whole different game really helps. I think it's like a mixture of everything, but just like the getaway plans on Red Dead is like, it's either like some sort of ambush, or like even the blocks are a little weird, because I don't think any of the blocks are really gonna work. They like the wagons are so slow and all that, so it's like
you would literally have to run over them, which I was thinking about. I'm like, what do I do with this? Because like, I don't think I should just run them over. I was like, wait a minute. But
HDM.
It'll be fun though, right? Like we'll figure something out, or it's gonna be like on most Red Dead servers like that I've seen. It's like, you know, they chase after you, you might lose them, but then it's like some sort of like high intensity like shootout, which is kind of cool, because like if you're doing like say a bank once a month or once every 2 weeks, like something that crazy, and getting away from it is like so rewarding. So
it'll be cool to see. Your car blows up, you don't go to the impound lot again.
Yeah.
Like small little mistakes can be detrimental. Like I remember today I ran into Leslie. That shit was hilarious.
Bro, I was like,
accident.
But yeah, we know you did it.
bro,
by
can I
accident.
show that clip really quick? Is that
Dude,
possible?
that is so funny.
I think I can show it really quick. Hold on 1 second. I might be
Yeah.
able to actually even put it in.
I didn't get to see what happened.
Bro, you
at that
have
point.
to see this, bro. It's actually
my
crazy.
favorite, like my favorite thing is like everyone's so new to like Red Dead, where like Jack just loves to like. I think everyone just zones out when we're on the horses, but Jack will just like sprint far ahead, and then he'll be like, "Wait, where are we going?" And then he'll like sprint back at you and like almost clothesline you every time. It's
Because
like
it's so hard
funny.
to control, bro. It's like
yeah, it's
crazy.
like you can't slow
You
down, you can't
stop
turn
it.
around.
It's-
It's
Let
so
me see if
funny.
I could probably share this for you guys as well. 1 sec. I'm probably just gonna have to.
But yeah, the funny thing is, even on the scene today, I got away. So Gio basically saved me, and we ended up shooting this guy down or
So
whatever.
I was wondering because I didn't know what happened to you. I just took
Oh,
a
I
shot
fell
in
off the
dark,
horse.
and I want to.
So hilarious.
I mean, I was just shooting lawmen, hoping to give you like the slightest chance to get out. And then after I shot both of them, I just was like, "Well, best of luck," and I took off, hoping you
Yeah.
got out. But I never heard what happened.
All right, can you guys see this or no?
Yep.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, ready? Here we go.
I'll go this way, you go right. Okay? Listen, I don't even know where I'm going.
Bro.
So unlucky. In the middle of where the PD just started following us.
Bro,
the Lord.
this was so freaking funny, bro. Oh my god.
Look, I'll go this way, you go right, okay?
Listen, I don't
Are you
even
a full
know where I'm going. Bro, I'm sitting there thinking, like, where's this guy going? I don't even know where anyone is.
Bro, it's so funny. Like even
so
even like watching some of the VOD, like the law also gets confused, right? Like they don't have a radio, so like they saw Nick go by or Leslie at the time, right? And they're like, is Leslie a part of this? Is Leslie not a part of this? Like they didn't even know like if they should stop Leslie
Bro,
because he was like in
my
the area.
horse was dead after that. Literally, I couldn't sprint on the horse anymore. He ran off, and I just had to be like, "Hello there, hello there." It was just so, dude. I don't know why, but like even the chaos to me is just, I'm just kicking back, smiling, bro. It's just I don't even care. Like, you know,
I think
but-
Even
the-
small mistakes could be detrimental. Like even me running over Gio's horse.
Yeah.
I killed his horse.
dude.
I didn't
don't
blow
know.
up his car.
He could
just lose his vehicle. He lost his horse.
Well, I like that. Did you actually like lose your horse? You could have like healed it, right?
I could have brought him back.
But it was good, like,
I played along with the storyline that I was like,
Well, you saw the gods,
he's
innit?
gone
It don't
now.
make
And then
sense.
I went and you could actually like in the game you can sell the horse. So
Bro,
I just rode your horse back and then went to the stables and sold Earl.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then he's no longer in my stable anymore. So I just played along with it. That, you
So
know,
I gave you
Earl.
$25 and
Gone.
you sold it.
yeah. He doubled up, bro. He doubled up the
He
chip,
made
bro.
money. He made money off
Yeah,
it.
He
yeah,
doubled
yeah.
dip,
the game.
bro.
But I had to like
found
play
that
along
funny.
with it for the story of it.
That scene was
fine,
so
it's
good
hilarious.
though. That was a really fun. Like even like the horse died and stuff. I
Ah.
played some sad music as I rode back up to you and saw you like Earl, Earl.
Come on, Earl, get up. Man, get up.
Come on, Earl, you can get up, right? And I'm like,
I was like, everybody turn around. I don't want you to see this.
bro, and I even
put him
turned my
down.
camera. You just hear the gunshot, you know, and you're like, damn it. It was just, oh man. But I don't know. There's just so many opportunities for that, and to me personally, I think those moments are so much better than probably the robberies will ever be in Red Dead. I like, and it's
Yeah.
something that I'm getting used to a little bit of like, I don't have to be on the way to the next robbery. I'm just like in the moment, I need to create the best story between whatever characters are there right then. And like there's like little things that like even like Injustice and I did where it was like he's like learning how to shoot, you know? And so like I sat down next to him like, okay, like aim for the bark, not the tree, you know? Like it just trying to teach little things like that, even though Injustice could outshoot me in any game ever, you know what I mean? Like it is just there's so much
Top shotter.
yeah, there's so much like storyline stuff that I kind of expected coming in, but also I was expecting like, oh, we'll go like towards like some of the heist type stuff, which I think we probably will, but I don't know. I don't know how you guys are feeling on
It's
that.
not
but-
our focus.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like
Well, this is not a
progression.
conversation. I had this with Wombat the other day. We was thinking, shit, this opium, because it seemed like a really cool thing. You know, it seemed like the only way our character was actually even making money at times. I was thinking, shit, how do we actually do this now? because we had such a good system in GTA. It was like, in theory, how are we going to do this? But
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
pretty
feel
cool.
like GTA.
Oh, like what
Obviously,
doesn't
would
feel like
be-
we're doing like Blue 2.0 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's more
wouldn't
to it
be-
though.
no,
'Cause you have
listen,
to
it
grow the
wouldn't be
opium
bad.
and all that. That's what I'm assuming is you have to grow the opium or grow the poppy to like be able to make the opium. So I feel like there's a lot more steps to it than there is in Grand Theft Auto because we just pull a table out and mysteriously we have chemicals. We put in a certain amount, and then bada bing, bada boom, we got meth.
Oh, I got
But
this
here it's
table
like we
of
gotta-
chemicals, and let me just press
gotta
E.
go,
You
like-
know?
Yeah, yeah. and
Hundreds
you
of
put in,
thousands
like-
of dollars later.
Yeah,
Put
and
these
it's like
chemicals out my ass.
here we have to work towards getting these, which I assume is poppy seeds, and then from there we can grow them. And it's like, what do we do next? You know, there's so many steps between, you know, having nothing and having the opium.
Yeah.
It pays great, and that's why like I at this point like I've dedicated my character like to solving opium.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to like hustle, trying to figure it out because that's the first thing that's made me $1 since I got there. So now I'm like, well, I gotta learn this. And it feels like there's a lot more to do in between each small criminal thing than there is in like the GTA where like I compare it to is the table where I just buy a table and I make meth. But on here, there's so many steps in between that to get that final product that it makes it so much more rewarding to like be able to make that opium.
Yeah.
Well, like,
Figure it out.
Hey, go
That's what I was
Jay.
saying before. Like the whole like process of it would be insanely cool to see, especially in an 1800s vibe. But I was
I think
thinking
we're
how you can
creative
do it
enough.
different because in the end of the day, your character would always try get to the point where he wouldn't want to be selling, and he would just oversee things.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, and it always brings for the best interaction because then it lets us employ sellers, which can be one line of extra people, and people to produce, and
Too many growers.
loads of others. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But that can add so much interaction because then it brings so many extra people into it, which at times have nothing to do with your group.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
I
cool
don't know.
about it.
It'd be really cool to see all these different like aspects brought into Red Dead, which can feel like maybe they have something to do with GTA, but they're going to be completely different.
For sure.
Well, I think the time period has changed, but like a lot of the like how an organizational structure doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really change over time. You know, like
Yeah.
like in terms of like a criminal organization or those kinds of things. Something that I'm trying to do is like play a little bit of a different character that's not like the same like leadership area as like my character in like GTA, you know. And so I'm trying to like find ways to like what would be best for like Leslie, you know. I kind of landed at this like right hand man type of an idea, and I think that that would be a good character for him. It's a character I think of in actually Yellowstone, where it's Lloyd in Yellowstone. If you guys have ever seen that show before, he's basically a character who is like he's like always a right hand man to somebody, and he never really is like the like main leader, and never gets like brought up to be that like leader, no matter how old he gets. That kind of area is like what I was messing around with today in particular, and I think it's gonna be kind of fun to like have to like I don't know navigate that because I normally like I like playing like characters that are like leaders, like have leadership qualities, but
Yeah, I've definitely noticed you've like taken like a small step back. Because when we were on the dock earlier with James, and we're standing there like talking about, well, what do we do now? Because Ron was missing. I noticed you were like, well, James, what do you want to do? Let's you know, you want to go practice shooting? I saw that you were like taking a step back and like playing a different role than who Nick is. You were allowing somebody else to like take over for a small little portion of what it is, but take over and let it be their responsibility.
Well, I think it makes sense for the characters, right? Like I think with James, he's like I think a lot of the characters around him would follow him.
Yeah, he's like a stud kind of.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. And so I think it's kind of like that's where I think that right hand man or like that like reliable type person makes more sense. And to be honest with you, that's the only reason I rode that long with that guy today. Because I mean, personally, like, I mean, hey, no like hate or anything like that, but I don't really like being around people who are like that kind of in a way. It's a little bit like I was trying to say it in character where it's like a little bit too like showy, but it kind of felt like somebody who's been on the server for a long time and was just kind of like.
Yeah,
they can speed run you, right?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I don't like that either, like the speed run side, but I also don't like the feeling of like I know everything. I'm a badass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm untouchable.
Yeah,
because
and that's kind
everything.
of
that's
the feel I was
100%
getting.
what he was doing.
And I just didn't really want to be associated with it. But the only reason I did it was because my character would want to prove himself to like the crew and James and those kinds of things, you know. So like as reliable, and so I was like, I guess I'll saddle
I think it's
up.
like a progressions. It's like a progression thing as well, right? Like at some point, it's really nice to have like a quest, like we said earlier, that is solely just for somebody else. Like I think the way I talked to Nick like off stream about is like we might not play Red Dead as long as we're playing GTA, and if like we all just take like leadership of like some sort of crew, and then say like next week we don't play Red Dead, it's like that whole story just like was building and then just stops. So it's like for me personally, it's like if someone like James is like leading, which it makes completely sense the way he talks, like just the way that character is, at least like we can build something up with him, but then like he can continue even if we like stop playing Red Dead, say in 2 weeks, you know, like.
Yeah, because that would be pretty unfair to leave.
The only way we can leave it if we're the leaders is if we die, like we would have to perma where like it turns a new leaf, because like on these games, like these players or these people are gonna play maybe Red Dead's their main game, where we're just doing it for like the content, the story, some just to change it up, so it's like someone like that is like perfect.
Do you guys feel like there is a timer for you with this Red Dead like thing? Do you feel like it's kind of like a timer ticking, or do you feel like you're just like riding until it doesn't go, or what is your thought process on it?
For me, there's no timer, but I think I'm done with Red Dead once I feel like there's no progression, or like kind of like what GTA is in a way. Like we know everything in GTA, we can do whatever we want, but as long as like every day I get on Red Dead and it feels like the story is still like building to the end of the movie kind of thing, I'll still want to play. I'll still keep playing. But if it feels like we've already, like if it feels like we can do whatever, or like if I was in, like, no offense to the person, but the guy that we were with today, if I was like that, where everyone knew me, I could get whatever I wanted, like, I wouldn't want to play either that character or Red Dead, So I feel like as long as like there's some sort of like either learning, whether it's, even if it was like we get a legal ranch, right, and we have to learn that whole thing, like it doesn't have to be crime related at all, but I just don't want to keep playing if I already have it all, kind of thing.
There's like no reward once you get to that point. Like for somebody like that guy Ringo who has it all, and he can walk into a gun store and say, "Hey, put 4 shotguns on my tab," and that's cool. Like there's no reward for that, and like I feel like that's where we're sort of at in GTA. It's why we're here now, is because we're at the point now where like we know everything. There's no unknown anymore, and I think that's why we're enjoying Red Dead so much, is because there's still that unknown. We're like chasing after the answers, which we're not doing, and we haven't been doing in GTA for a long time because we've known the answers because we've done it for so long. So I feel like there's just so much to learn in Red Dead that we're excited. You get on and you're excited to learn something new every day. Because like when I get on GTA, it's like I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get in the chase. I'm gonna get pitted going 200 miles per hour. I'm gonna go to jail for 300 months. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna do it again.
Or you come with me and you'll never get caught. Or you'll
like on Red Dead, it's like there's still so much to learn that it's so fun to even the small little bits that we're picking up, those little pieces of the puzzle. They're so rewarding because there's so much unknown out there.
Yeah,
I think it's been fun.
But listen, when it comes down to GTA, bro, GTA was so full at the start as well. Even like the rush hour thing, like Nick, you need to admit too, like even like doing all the hacks, learning police.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
With Mason and learning like all these other
Nick.
things.
Come on,
with people.
Nick.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything bad. Whoa, don't get me in trouble here. I'm not saying anything bad, or I'm just.
No, I don't mean it in a way. I'm just trying to say like GTA in its whole. It's not like a surface.
No, yeah.
GTA in its whole, but like when we was learning like all these base things, because at least from the server that we came before, when at least I knew Nick and Gio and all the rest of the boys, there wasn't an intricate like hack system.
Yep.
The jobs wasn't really RP'd out very well, and at least on Rush Hour, it was actually fantastic.
Yeah, it was like lots.
Just learning all these jobs and just learning how to do it. It was really fun, and I feel like that's what the stage may be at the moment on Red Dead. But the cool thing about Red Dead is a completely different platform, so we get a whole new tool of like a whole new set of tools, and on top of it, it's a complete different game. So the graphics are just insane, and I don't know. It's been quite funny just running into them random things like someone getting kicked by a horse.
Dude, our whole
punching your
first
horse.
week, whole first week is the
I,
doctor
I was
visit.
actually starting to get to a part where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this every day. Like the every day going to the, like it was me, it was freaking Rod.
The first
it
3
was-
days were bad.
It
The
was
first
like,
3
bro,
days, it
I
was
don't
like-
know if I can keep going to the doctor this much, man. And it was just like, it was so much, bro. Because it'd be like a 30-minute journey just to find a doctor, you know? And then we'd be like, it was just, some of the people in the chat were like, so you guys just find doctors, or like, is that what the game is? You know?
It's Doctor Hunting Simulator.
And then if you don't find a doctor, you use a smelling salt. You come back alive at like 25 HP, 25%. So if a horse kicks you at all, you just insta die again.
Yeah.
So it's like we're just dying over and over, never getting like the full heal, nothing. And then like the full Red Dead economy is like everything is run in a full circle where like you actually need a player doctor, because our characters paying $30 right now is just like, that's not really like ideal or like possible.
That's good though too.
Yeah,
it's really good,
On the
yeah.
side of the road, I ain't paying $30.
And then
Before you
even
go to Nancy straight
yeah,
away.
Nancy,
Yeah.
like on like GTA, you go to Nancy, and like even I think on GTA it's like $300 to see the doctor, right? But it's like none of
That's
us care. None of us care at all. And then like Red Dead is like, even like the blacksmith shop, those are like player ran shops. Like even that is a whole aspect to learn, right? Where we like thought of the idea of like robbing the transport of all the goods, like all of that stuff. Like every single aspect could be a learning curve. You could literally like you could probably dedicate a full week or 2 weeks to like one thing and still not understand how it works. Like we know of opium, but I'm sure there's like 10 other like illegal kind of drugs that we could kind of like, they all have their own process in a way, you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Moonshine would be an insanely cool one. It'd be different.
Our characters like kind of like understand it, but it's kind of like, what do we want to do? I feel like is like everybody is kind of, the whole crew is kind of just starting. So it's kind of like if we just put our heads down and we grind, it will kind of like take us out of the story a bit. So I think we're all like, I think the pace we're on right now is like really good, right? Like no one's like dedicating 12 hours to like one specific thing. We're all kind of like, it's all kind of like a spread of
Yeah. It's just
like
like going with the
systems,
flow
right?
kind of thing, and not just like grinding.
Yeah,
for
no
one
speed
specific
running.
thing. Like, yeah, it's not like sitting there with
Time has been going so
sanitation.
quick.
Yeah, you look up and it's been 12 hours. You're like, what the
Yeah.
heck did
Bro.
where did my day go?
It's been I've heard you talk about that, Jack, where you're like, you look at the time what you're streamed and you're like, what the fuck? How long have
Yeah.
I been on right now? Wait, what? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really refreshing, man. It's good. But yeah, time just goes so quick in the game.
Yeah. So we're gonna open it up for questions, guys. So if you have any questions, just at me in the chatter box and stuff like that. We've got a few different questions here. So what we got, number one, is what do you feel is different this time around with Red Dead? The population, going in with friends, more viewers to enjoy the content. The last part of that, I wouldn't really say that. Like viewers to me, like I said this at the beginning of the stream today, it's not like I don't really make decisions based on, okay, this is going to get me more viewers or not. It's something that I can't really control personally. It's not something that I can I can't control if you guys click on my stream or not that day. That's just completely out of my control. The only thing I can do is try to create things that might promote that. So I'd say the last one is not really it, right? I would say if I was thinking about that in particular, I probably would not have moved. It's a pretty big risk to like go and switch up what you're doing and all that kind of stuff. And so I probably wouldn't have done that. I don't know for what you guys are thinking for your guys' streams and whatnot, but I personally would, if I was thinking about that, I probably wouldn't have made the switch. But it's been even better, honestly. It's been cool for that. But I think what's different for me going like into Red Dead this time than I did last time, population of servers big right now. It feels like the population's good and the people who are in there are pretty high quality. I don't know if that's the application process for the server or what. Those two things have been awesome. I think going in with more friends though, I don't normally like doing that personally. I don't normally like doing that, but I think what we've done is like we've all created different types of characters and brought them together versus like the same characters and then forcing it to like come together and boom.
We didn't even bring them together though. So basically,
Exactly, yeah.
you spawned in one place. I called Jay on Discord. before like you guys was even in game.
Yep.
And I was getting it basically just to help me out with the plugins.
Yeah.
And he told me that he
TeamSpeak stuff,
spawned
yeah.
at some other place, and I seen there was 4 places, so I spawned in the other complete different place.
That's cool. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, it all came all very naturally how everyone met, and I don't know.
I think even
I feel like
looking
maybe
at that,
if we didn't even know each other, we may have still even formed the same sort of group. That'd be cool to see if it would have actually happened.
yeah.
But I don't know.
I am really happy that there's a random in the group, like from the start. Like James,
That
I
is
think
changing
even,
too. That
I
is
think
very
James being a part of it, he was a part of it before I even met with you guys. I'm pretty sure. I think it was you, Clarence, James, and Jack, or Ron. Like the
Shall I
fact,
try
like,
and find the clip of like where I actually first met this guy?
that'd be interesting to see. I just like that there's like, I told Nick this, like, ideally for me, for every like one of our friends in our group, I would really hope to see a new like random person we've never met like be a part of it. You know, so like if there's 4 of us in the group, I would hope that there's like 4 random eventually, obviously, right? Like comes a time. But I think it's like really cool that we have like a person we never met like ever be a part of it. And then even going into it, like you can't, like no Discord messages. We're like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I look at Osco, I don't know, I forget is it John?
Just Man Up
playing?
Plays. Yeah.
Just Man Up Plays, yeah. But like even someone like that, right? Like he's trying out the server, obviously, like because like all of us are. Like his character has not had the, like he was our first hostage, like you know what I mean? Like if we were just meeting up to like all play together, we would have been like, oh, it's this person. We can tell from their voice. We're not going to take them hostage. But like even stuff like that, we're like, you can tell.
I didn't even know it was him, bro, to be honest. I just looked randomly. I was like, fuck, we need a hostage. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
It was nice at first how like when I first got introduced to you guys, you were like initially, even though I've known you for like probably years now, initially you were like standoffish, like, hey, Waylon, go over there and talk to that wall real quick while we go have a private chat, because you didn't like know me, even though we do know each other. Like in this game and time, you didn't know me. So for the first day, it was like, yeah, you could just follow along, you know, whatever, and, you know. And then we eventually built that little trust up to we're like, all right, man, tag along. We're going to do a little job or something. So that's been pretty nice how we've been able to like separate the fact that we actually do know each other. And we're initially like that little like standoffishness at first was great, because it was like, good, you don't know me, like you actually don't know me. And I like that because it builds an entirely different character.
Yeah. Even the conflicts we kind of have in the group is like,
yeah,
James and Ron are like enemies kind of sometimes. Like Ron's like, or James, I haven't heard Jack say anything, but James is like, Ron's gonna be pissed at me again. And then he's like,
James
fuck that
and
guy.
Ron's relationship is honestly like one of the funniest things to listen to, because if you talk to James, like I wish you could hear what James says, man, because James, like, he hates you, Jack, but he loves you. You're like that redheaded stepchild where he's like, well, let's go pick up Ron's ass again. Here we go.
Well, like today,
it's so funny because
today in the meeting
he puts up with it. Yeah, he was like,
I guess he's part of us now. We can't
get rid of him. We can't get rid of him. He's like, well, let's go get a boat and go find his ass. You know, like he hates you, but he actually does. Like he enjoys putting up with you.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That's what I was telling him. I was like, man, it's comical.
He always telegrams us and stuff. It's good stuff, though.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah,
it's so funny.
We first met him when we brought him on hunting and stuff, and it was good stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like the big thing is, and this is a trait that a lot of us at least carry, is that most of the time we're thinking about both sides. We want to at least see some sort of interaction and some sort of chase. And I feel like at times we may just need to sort of get on the same basis. But then on the other hand, I'm guessing it's a little bit different on Red Dead.
It's different, bro. That's
different.
what I was gonna say. It's a lot different. Like, yeah, on Red Dead than GTA. Because GTA, you can get chased for going on a goddamn traffic stop. You know what I mean? Like, you get chased for doing anything really. You know, like, and you can also set up things to like always win. I'll tell you this right now. Depending on what the law have, based on like other servers I've been on, they have a very big advantage all the time. Right, like in terms of like lassoing, or like if they have a bola, the bola tie thing. Oh my god, that thing's crazy.
They just said they was going to shoot my horse.
That too. I mean, yeah,
it's like
dude, I'm telling you, bro.
Dead or Alive, you know,
it is. it is kind of like that. It's just a different beast, and that's like I've been trying to figure out. Okay, how is the law? Like, how do they deal with stuff? And so that's where I'm like, I'm just trying to take like a back seat a little bit and be like, okay, like what's going on here? Because it is a completely different world when it comes to that. Because normally in GTA you'd be like, I'm gonna wait until they have enough units. I'm gonna wait until this, and I'm gonna wait until it's kind of it just feels like it's different. I don't know.
I do feel like the playing field is kind of level with the sheriffs in this game, because they don't have PD armor or PD Glocks in S class cars. They have the same horse you have. Theirs might be trained, but you can get yours trained to be the same thing. They got the same guns you have. It's a very level playing field because we can get those Lazoos, and we can get those Bolas. We can get everything they have. So it's a very level playing field, and it makes it's honestly so refreshing that we have a chance to actually compete or fend for ourselves against the law because they don't have this massive advantage over us. We're on a very level playing field.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
really
pretty good.
enjoy being able to have a chase and still be able to conversate with the person in the middle of the chase. Talk some shit at times.
Well, I think Red Dead is kind of like, because even like I'm not sure if you guys have seen like on their Discord they have a bounty board that is like you can use that like what names you see like in character, like that's their bounty board, and you'll see like wanted, dead or alive. And I think like in the times it really is kind of like we won't go on a 5-minute horse chase. Like that's why like when we planned the Valentine getaway, it was like, okay, this is 30 seconds. We might make it to this bridge without them like doing like a lasso or like shooting or something. Like Red Dead is like we'll have to learn like kind of like what can we give and what can we kind of like take in a way, because like I think Red Dead is like a lot of it is like either you lose them through the woods kind of like randomly, or it's like some sort of like shootout, like or something, some sort of like ambush, or like you lasso them off the bridge, like stuff like that, right? Where it's like whatever your plan is, you kind of do it in the first like 2-3 minutes.
I just like longer things out. And obviously we're gonna have to get used to how long we can make things. But in GTA we had that advantage, especially like me and even Nick and like the people that enjoyed the driving side of things. Yeah, we could really just do whatever the fuck we wanted for a very, very long time just because we was good at one mechanical part of the game. So it's not even like a skill which we'd even want to be proud of. But I'm just saying it would give us a lot more liberty in between scenes. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think Red Dead is I think Red Dead is kind of like the opposite, where like GTA is kind of like we plan, but like the most like the chunk of like content is like the actual like getaway. But I think Red Dead, it might be flipped, where it's like the 3 days you plan this thing, you staked it out, like that is like the part you're supposed to enjoy more. You kind of think like that is the longer part of the job, the planning, the like going here, going there, back and forth, and then like the actual job is kind of like that's just like the like climax of the story, but like the whole like story part of it, or like the whole like fun part of it, is the build up in a way on Red Dead. Like how did you get there? You know what I mean? Who did you meet? All that kind of thing.
That is what's hard to get used to, because I think a lot of the player to player like criminal interaction is actually supposed to be bigger than like the player to like law at times, like the robberies and stuff like that. It's just different. It's definitely
a learning, like it's a learning curve. I think
it's hard as an RPer, man, like because you've been used to something for so long, and you're like, you just really have to like strip that down and be like, okay, what does this world look like?
Even the jail times.
I want to talk about that actually.
Are gonna be crazy.
So, without like too much crazy like information,
without ruining tomorrow's or the next time we all.
Yeah, obviously we won't like metagaming is the moment where you bring it into the.
You do know, is what I sent you in a Telegram.
Yeah,
and bro, them times are hefty.
I will say though, I think. The 2 Red Dead servers I've been on, they have like offline time. But like I don't know if this server has that, but like you could complete your time like not logged in. Like the sentence never like stopped kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's how it is.
That's nice. It seems like because you're still serving your sentence. It's no point in logging in if you're going to be in jail for the next 4 hours. So you might
maybe not. Did you?
There's no one there.
What I'm curious about is like, is there mechanics in there to like lower the time? That's what I'm curious about.
I didn't really see any in there, but don't take my word on it because I'm guessing there is.
There might be like you needed a warden, and if there was no warden, maybe like
Well,
you know what I mean. Like
if there's
stuff like
not, that is definitely a conversation to open up with the server. Because
Yeah,
Well,
serving actually.
I went in
serving
there. There was a
300
guy who was
all the time.
AFK. Like, obviously, the server's been fantastic, bro.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
been good. But there was a guy who was AFK. The cops was, I guess it was one of them sort of scenes. As I said, not everything's always going to be fantastic.
yeah.
And I was just stuck in there, and I was like, "What am I doing here now?" It's like you're going to get 300 days. I was like. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, because you're used to hearing it in months too. You're like, how long is that actually?
like,
is that actual
30
days?
days? Is that 30 days?
Is that like
Like, what are we
actual
talking
days,
here?
or where are we at with it?
It was so long. I was like, mate,
still a long
how
time,
the fuck
though.
am I going to do this?
I think though you got fucked over because he shot, right? Like you guys
Maybe.
technically
Well, we'll
killed
see.
the officer.
Yeah, we'll see that.
Well, listen,
but-
we don't even need to get into it. I said, like, certain things happen. Certain scenes will play out in different ways. It is what it is.
Thanks for the raid. We're in the
Oh,
middle
yeah.
of a podcast
Talking
now,
about
but I do
time.
appreciate it. Thank you so
The
much.
time did seem long, but who cares? In the end of the day, I guess it puts you out of the game for a day. But maybe a smart thing to do is maybe get like a second character.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
maybe just move on to another game if you go to prison. Just you're not going to go to prison in Red Dead like you are in GTA, I'm guessing.
I think like the way I see it is like Red Dead, like if you're serving, okay, 5 hours is kind of insane, but if you had like opportunities where there's like actual like players there and stuff like that, you might be able to burn a good hour or two, just like off of like guards and like people. But if no one's there and you can't do like any sort of like, I don't know, like push-ups or mine rocks or something, then
Right.
I
If there's
think
no mechanics,
you have
that's
to have a different
ridiculous.
character.
Yeah,
You have to have a different
it's-
character. Like
I mean, that's stupid though. I mean, if there's
Well,
no.
even with mechanics, though, like mechanics ain't what we're looking for interaction with people.
But if it's 300 months,
such
there needs to be a
fun-
mechanic. Like there needs to be a mechanic to lower the time. Like.
well, like 5 hours is like kind of crazy, right?
I mean, how many? That's
but,
300 minutes.
like-
Yeah, is that 5 hours?
yeah, it's 5 hours.
That's
But I
fucking
think-
nuts, bro. I mean, dude, if my previous self in high school could look at me now and say that I'm playing a video game that I could be locked in jail
That's
for
what I
5
said.
fucking hours, I would kick my own ass, dude. I'm sorry, bro, but oh my god, bro.
I think though that's
This
like
happened 10
the,
times, and then I'm serving the time of like a real prison sentence for like a week. Like, fuck.
that's kind of like the
seems
thing
long.
with Red Dead, right? Is like they make everything so significant, right? Like the 1 week cooldown, like you can't do a bank for one. You know what I mean? Like I think they kind of take it a little bit too like
Yeah,
a little bit on that
one's-
extreme side, right? Like
I like that it would be a little bit more intense than like a GTA. Like say it's
Yeah.
like 120 months, or like minutes for that. That I'm okay.
Yeah,
like
that
if
seems
it's a little
intense.
more intense, boom, that's intense.
Well, even 180.
well, I like the whole like storyline where like Ron's gone for a time period, right? Because like we did this thing.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But I want
And it'll be a
Ron to have
development for
fun,
the
like.
character.
But I want Ron to
have
be
fun
able
while
to
he's
exist.
there, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, I don't want Ron to stare at a
Well,
wall.
listen, it is what it is. It takes your character out to play for a while, which makes him either best,
Yeah.
and then people need to basically take on whatever he was doing, etc. And it will give me progression to my character because now my character is going to come out of prison and it's going to be like, shit,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
changed, Squire. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool,
I've
you know?
changed, squad.
You have to
I
like
saw
learn
some
that like
shit.
you have to learn that like once you get caught, you don't want to get sent right away, right? Like you want like even them in the cells with you, you want to delay like
Yeah, you're
every
It was
bit.
actually
Like,
doctor.
you gotta like milk every bit of like anything you can, because like I mean at
Please
least
talk
like
to me, officer. Please,
If once you're in there, you got him.
yeah.
Come
But, I
visit
mean,
me,
it-
officer,
please,
please.
officer. Please let me just talk for a minute before you send me to solitary confinement
Please.
for 5 hours.
Just stay one more minute, please, Squire.
It would be nice, like at least like hopefully your time is like getting served while you're not even online, which is like every Red Dead server I played on, that was kind of like what they did. And it was longer sentences, but I think like, bro, if imagine we did a like the Valentine's store was like a few hours into the stream. Like imagine we hit Valentine and then we're just all in jail for 5 hours.
This is the whole
It'd be
Noon.
cool because we got each other there.
That's true.
We
But
would have made it
but, I
into
mean,
something, yeah, but yeah, still.
But like
Doesn't
for
matter the
5
time,
hours, it'd be
as long
kind of
as you got
crazy.
people.
Yeah, if you
The
had like
problem is
if you had
when you don't.
guards and all that, like.
But
Even
still,
if the
yeah,
guards only
no.
came like if the guards ever only came like every so often, like
What's it
even if they
for,
came,
days?
you know,
No,
like
bro. 5 hours is. I think if I want to stay there for 5 hours, I'll stay there for 5 hours. In RP, but don't don't put me in video game jail for 5 hours, bro. I'm sorry. Like if it's big enough, right?
Yeah.
If I murdered half of Valentine or something like that, I mean, maybe, like I get it.
Yeah.
But if like I robbed a store and maybe shot one lawman, let's think about player to player here. In the same way, we're not going to like kidnap a lawman more than like 25 minutes and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah.
Like,
But even that, right?
even
like,
that would be long. You know what I mean?
You're even if it was an hour long, that's an hour of like consistent talking that lawman can be a part of, right? But like the second he gets sent, it's 5 hours of staring at a wall. Like, the two don't even compare. Like I could kidnap a player for an hour, and at least for that hour he can talk to me the whole time, he can interact. But it's like the second you go to like some room on the map where there's not even a visitation. There's not even a visitation. You're just sitting there.
Well,
like
it's not even a visitation. You're on an island in the middle of water. There's no way of getting out. There's no way of getting people to go.
It's like the worst. Oh man,
it is really bad. It would be kind of funny if the lawman knew. Like,
but you would be the one to get sent for that, bro. You would be.
Yeah,
bro.
you would be the first one to get sent first, right? Like that just fits. But
Doc used to be the one. He used to be the one who would ask for longer time when people would try and use it against him.
yeah.
I remember Doc, when me and Wombat like met him at the start, he would do 500 bumps for wearing a mask, but he would take it just to make a point, and it's like, mate, what are you doing? You're
Yeah.
sitting in video game prison for too long.
It would be so funny if they they knew no one was in jail and they took Ron around in like the jail outfit, like the lawman, like forced you to do work in the towns or something. You know what I mean? Like that stuff would be so funny. But to send someone off,
That would have
like,
been cool.
Yeah, it's just a courtesy
community
thing, bro.
service or something like.
It's a courtesy thing as players. I mean, now I think the server should probably think about like for like the different streamers on the server, with that as well. I don't think streamers should ever like supersede what happens with like players, but streamers and players those times are valuable. Like you want to make sure
streamers are the example, right? Like, or they can show how bad it really is, right? Like,
yeah. And so hopefully they see that. Maybe even like if I were you, I'd throw in something and just be like, hey, look, I got sent for 300 days for
It's supposed to be 450.
how did you get an extra 50?
That's what you're guilty plea.
How did you get an extra 50?
What do you mean? It was supposed to be 450.
What, were you biting the officers in there or something like that?
Were you
or
like
what?
biting them?
Well, no, it was one of those sort of things, but yeah.
Oh, great. We didn't hear the whole story, did we?
I would. From what I
it's not even
heard,
the whole story. I'm just trying to say, like,
Yeah.
no, from what I heard,
sort
like,
of things that at the end of the day, the guy wanted to.
I think you
give me
should make a
300
ticket no matter
bucks.
what.
Yeah, it's a good conversation to open up. The server's only, you guys know the server's only 4 months old?
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of
I
crazy.
was actually just reading that. It's like still in like, I think it's a quote unquote beta. Like it's still kind of ironing everything out.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Well,
nuts.
the list seems quite good.
I would make a ticket.
And he put a message in like the general.
Yeah.
He seems like he was actually preoccupied by the server, which is cool, man. So,
I would put in the
there seems like
ticket
good
for
people.
all of it, even the whole like mass, like all of it, like the whole like he identified or not to like throw shade on somebody, but like you got identified with a mask on, like
no, but there's
in the
more to that.
store.
There was more to it. I was like, I got taken hostage for that same place.
Yeah,
And I told the guys, I was like, do you really want to rob the place which I just got taken for? Remember, there was 2-3 hours between it. In GTA, 2-3 hours is days.
yeah.
Seems like in Red Dead, 2-3 hours, it isn't that long, maybe. And they might have noticed the mannerisms of my voice. And yeah, it is a bit strange that they just call me Ron Chapman with the mask on. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. I don't really mind.
Alright.
I
You
don't
like
mind it if you're trying to be like, I think like the cowboy times, like trying to be like known for things is a thing. Like with the Red Dead, it kind of makes sense, right? Like you always wear the same thing, where you don't wear a mask. You kind of like own it and you like build this bounty. But if you're like trying to hide who you are in a way, and then like, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of
Well,
it's
the
different,
problem
right?
was
Like-
you should have gave him the howdy partner. That's what you should have gave him, because they would have been
Howdy, partner.
they would have been so confused. You know?
they would be like, what?
I did give it the howdy partner with the start. That's what I'm doing every time.
Oh, that's funny,
So-
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Shit happens in the end of the day.
Yeah.
Who cares? It was hilarious in the end of the day, the scene, like the whole thing, and even the way I went down, because I got away. I just ended up falling off the horse again. Like the whole thing was it was funny. I ended up just giving myself in though in the end.
Oh.
I just, because I respawned, I just basically made out like if I don't remember anything. And I just walked into the sheriff's office. I'm like, is there a doctor here? And they all just start looking at me like,
wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute.
And
I mean, I think it's good on
you with 300 fucking days.
well, I was completely like, I
Concern
was
yourself, man.
bullshitting with them, saying it wasn't me, as my character didn't remember. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guessing they got annoyed that I didn't just tell them the truth. But I
Yeah.
was just trying to like make out like if I didn't remember it happens at times.
Well, like
So I
Red
just-
Dead is like, well, their server rules are like you can remember everything, but once you get shot or once you do get knocked out, you can't remember it after. Like, say someone says something while you're already knocked out. Like,
Yeah.
that's their server rules.
Yeah,
but I
you
think
can't
like
know anything in
I don't think
capacity.
you should remember. Like, you know what I mean? You woke up at like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it doesn't make sense like for you to remember in a way. You know, you should have like that forgetfulness.
But
You know?
on the other hand, it is a lot easier to progress with a storyline when you remember things in GTA because you
Yeah.
can call a medic. Here we can't.
Yeah, that's true.
So if a whole storyline had to go down the bin,
Wait, is it that if you
Because-
don't call a medic, you can't remember anything that led up to it?
In GTA,
No,
if you
in Red
if you
Dead.
respawn,
In Red Dead.
in Red Dead you can't even call a medic.
there's no medic calling in Red Dead.
Yeah, but like if you, I mean,
respawn,
but if you
keep your stuff.
respawn, you can remember stuff still, right? You just can't
Yeah, like
remember
they're-
what happened after you went down.
Yeah, exactly. Like their rules are like you can remember the story and like key things, but you know, it's kind of like to prevent like ocean dumping, right? Like imagine you have this like crazy scene and then like your character has to forget it because you know what I mean? Like just because you got thrown in some sort of lake or something.
Yeah.
Like you can remember it, but I guess anything after you can't remember, which in my opinion doesn't really make sense because like what are you gonna really remember while you're like laying on the floor dead?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like but it's really cool. I think even the no medic thing is different because like on the other server I was a part of, it was like you could call for a medic and
They would come out
It
of
was just
nowhere
like-
and
it
find
was like
you. Yeah.
50-50 if a real player found you. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah.
I think it's still cool. The whole
Um,
like respawning.
I think that kind of answers. Have you had any bad experiences with the RP in Red Dead? It's kind of like I think the time is just a bad experience in my opinion, but that's also for you to decide, Jack. But I think that answers that.
Well, that definitely wasn't bad.
No.
It's one of them sort of things which you're going to learn and just understand how the lore is and how the voice thing works and, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think
And
it would be
timing
different
as well. As
if
I
you
said,
had people.
It was 3 hours since I had been there before, and obviously I changed my clothes completely. But
Yeah.
it's 3 hours, which in GTA was I don't know how many games, and in Red Dead it doesn't feel like 3 hours is actually too long. Like,
Yeah.
what if is the night cycle? Is it like
I don't
every
even
2
know.
hours?
It's
Is
like
a day and a night? It doesn't seem to go that quickly, does it?
no, the day and nights definitely don't go that quickly, but maybe it's like every 30 minutes or something. Like, you know, daytime's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The sunset or something, but
Let's get
I
to
think,
get
yeah.
to some more of these questions as well. What are you most excited to learn about in Red Dead? And not all, you guys all don't have to answer it. We could just kind of have a couple of you guys answer it or something like that. Or if you have like a particular thing you're super stoked about to learn about in Red Dead, then yeah, fire away.
I think for all of us, it's just everything. It's like the whole world is something to learn and to create a story about, right?
Yeah.
So like everyone's excited. It could, like I said earlier, it can be a legal, like we start our own ranch and we want to learn all of that and how do we sell the goods, or you know what I mean? Like everything is a learnable thing. I think we're all just excited about something new in a way.
Just go with the
I'm
flow
just
of
excited
things.
to learn something different. So
Yeah.
there's no like
I think-
particular thing. It's just like I'm just excited to be here and to learn everything that there is to offer.
I think it's like for me, it's like the cinematic roleplay is interesting to me. Like getting more and more like cinematic or like not so episodic, but like overall story. And
Yeah.
you know, if people watch all of it, then they like have a reward of seeing like the whole story build, and they feel like it really built up, even if it's not for a long, long time.
Yeah.
That'd be for me. Let's see here. Matlin's asking, you guys can decline. Okay. Can we get each of them to talk like their characters in both games? Starting with Jay.
Hello.
I think they want to see like your face like while you do it, or hear you like switch between or something, you know?
Yeah, mine's just my normal voice and then the J voice really. And I don't make a face, I would say.
I think
I
you
just
started
thought-
out going a little bit deeper on Kane, right? And then now
what happens
you
is
kind of, like,
my throat just gets shot. Even on the J voice, like after a long time of like, it's like pushing on the Kane voice is like you're pushing.
Yeah.
It's just like I drink like a lot of water, but I'm 5 days in now. You know what I mean? I can't do it as like as strong.
I think
but
I
like
like the voice now than I liked it before, to be honest with you. I think I think like it's very subtle versus like, yeah. I think it's cool. Yeah, you want to do it? You want to do Geo and Waylon?
I can. It's kind of funny because when you know how like Italians are always.
Yeah.
Oh, I use. Oh, you can't even see it, but I use my mouse button to. I use my mouse
push to
button
talk.
Talk, yeah, but like with my left hand, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what. I don't
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
you're looking
dude.
at, you know. So I'm like sitting there, like, you know, and I'm like on my screen, like, and I'm sitting here in my living room, like, you know, doing that.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I talk with my hands.
Yeah,
I do the same thing, but I'll do it with my mouse in my hand. Like, you know, like if I'm being expressive, I'll be like, what the, you know, like I'll just
I use
mouse.
my hands to like talk on a video game. It's funny. And then Waylon Scott, you know, it just makes Southern accent. It's just, there's nothing to it. I just talk like a slow kind of dumb cowboy.
Yeah. Well, then how did you come up with the code name Zamboni?
Next question. I'm not Zamboni.
That's so funny.
Jack,
Everybody's like, is that him?
Jack, what have you thought on like Ron's voice? Like, what are some of the thoughts you've gone through on his? It's different than like a Jack White, in my opinion, at least. But
well, I feel like the character needs to progress, and as he progresses, he'll assert dominance in a different sort of way.
Yeah.
Like whenever he's talking. So I'm guessing at the start he starts more like a pussy, and then bit by bit he'll go like, I don't know.
Yes, Mister.
To a different tone.
Hello,
Yeah,
Mister.
Excuse me, squaw.
Sir.
I think even if you kept it, like if you kept that the whole way, you know what I mean? Like I think your voice is definitely different for sure. Like
the Squire thing is iconic, and please never get rid of it because that shit is so funny. How you just
even
run around and call everyone Squire.
The Toodaloo.
Yeah, listen,
and
I joined on another survey. I was calling this guy Squire, and it was like a Bastille or something. But I ended up arguing with this guy, and apparently calling Squire is actually like calling someone Squire was apparently calling like someone who's beneath you. I didn't know that. I thought that was like.
Yeah, I thought it was just respectful. You know? I thought that, that was respectful.
It is, isn't it? I'm sure it is. I'm sure this guy must be lying. But yeah, I ended up having like a whole fight with him because I called him my Squire.
You're like, I'm trying to be nice to you. What do you mean, man?
But yeah, well, we ended up having a fight, and it was like, shit, if I beat you, you're my Squire. And if you beat me, I'm your Squire. And I ended up being his Squire. So it was unlucky.
Yeah.
No, I like that everyone is like different. I think Ron's voice, like from the outside, is like, I think like when depending on the setting, you talk like a little bit differently, right? Like it's almost like you can tell Ron's in a different mood in a way, which is cool to see, right? Like,
yeah,
if Ron, you know, like that's like your voice changes just a little bit, but it's really cool to see.
Well, I feel like pace of the voice as well. Speaking slower. That's fast as fuck when I'm usually speaking compared to a lot of like people that I'm guessing you guys are used to. Just down to the fact of like the Spanish and the English getting mixed and stuff. Just because in Spain we speak quite quickly. But yeah, I feel like speaking slowly as well adds a lot to your character. I feel like that's what James does quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, what's up? I'm Nick Ender. Hey, how are you? And then, hello there. My name's Lele. That's it.
Lele.
I like saying that, dude. It's so fun saying that because everyone's like, "What is your name?
What's your name?"
Lele.
They're like,
What did you say?
Yeah. And then I'm like, "Oh, they think they're better than me, especially in Saint Denis." Oh, you don't want to know my name?
So good, yeah.
You think you're so smart down here in Saint Denis with your fancy suit and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you do. When I said that, I could just feel you're like, God damn it. Nick."
Whoa, Jesus.
I really like on something like that happened on a different server with me and Stuart, where Stuart talked shit to like the people that owned the saloon basically, but didn't know. And it was basically like the Leslie situation, like didn't know, and they like took him to a back alley and like
kicked his
I'm
ass.
really excited when that happens to like Leslie, where like he talks bad to like the wrong person and they're like, come with me a minute, you know what I mean? Like yeah.
I'm trying to I try not to like be like unhinged with it, but it's more of just like that particular area is what I'm trying to do.
You still like the city, it's cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense, yeah. I think
It's more
it
like
makes
a
sense.
country, man.
It's a hard like middle ground for sure, but Okay, we got another question. It's a good one. This might be last one here. Watching how others gatekeep certain aspects of crim life, would you be following in those footsteps and also make it something for others to learn by themselves, or would you help them on stuff that was hard for you? Unfortunately, just streaming it, we already screwed people over, right? Like we already screwed the server over on that. It's up to the server to mitigate that. And that might be their like their something to learn, especially being a new server. That's gonna be something to learn,
Yeah.
But I think for me and Geo you are like Lils, you could probably speak on this a lot too. But I don't know how cool it is that the lockpick thing is so guarded, but
Yeah.
also robbing a store is a big deal in the server, and robbing, getting into that life is big, but
Yeah, I feel like just like gatekeeping information is such a strange thing, and you don't necessarily have to like give away the answer, but like there's absolutely nothing wrong with just pointing somebody in the right direction.
yeah.
Because we were all at square one once, and like we had to learn everything, and that's kind of why the whole thing with like Ringo and Rex and them was that, like they're the first hand to reach out to us and help us out just the slightest bit. They're not telling us how to make opium or how to do this or that, but they're pointing us in the right direction so that we can go and like naturally learn it ourselves. So I've never been a big fan of just like tight lips, like I don't know where lock picks are at, what is that, it's just like it's so strange, the whole gatekeeping thing, because I don't like expect you to be like, oh yeah, well follow me, I'll make you 10 right now. Like I don't want that. I want you to say like, there's a feller down in St. Denis in the back alley behind the pawn shop. You go talk to him, he'll help you out. I like that kind of stuff where it's like, I don't want the answer. I want to be pointed in the right direction, maybe, and I'll go find it myself. But just stonewalling is it's strange because nobody benefits from it. It's like, if you already hit the register that day, which we learned today, that if you already went and robbed the store and took everything out of the bank or out of the register, then who cares if I come behind you and try and do it, because I'm not going to get anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing left in there.
In theory, there's literally no benefit of gatekeeping another crew's attempt at something. Like if you go and rob a store, if that person also if that person also goes and makes money robbing a store, or even like they might get caught, all these things, like there's you don't lose any. It's not your money you're losing by them robbing a store. You know what I mean? I think I like the like sprinkle kind of. I think like
there's a way to do it. Like for me, the way I always do it is like I like bring them onto a track, right? I'm like, okay, if you want to really learn like the bank robbing and like GTA, people always want to just be like, tell me everything, But what I realize is that like if I tell them everything right there, they're done in a week. And they're already
kills the whole like server, really.
Yeah, and I'm like trying to help them realize that like the process to learn is actually the fun part. Once you get to the end of the road, it's actually like you're at the end of the road for your character. Like
there's not a lot of end game in like, it's not an MMO, right? Where there's like new end game all the time. Yeah. It's like once you're at end game, you're at end game.
And that's kind of that's kind of where I always try to take it. I think it's the worst thing you can ever do is ask somebody to pay you money to get the information.
Oh, like 15 grand will show you this. Like in GTA, that's so common.
It's really like a low quality thing in my opinion, and you can be way more creative than just like money can be part of the equation. But if you're just like, give me like, I think we got offered to like D to the J said in the chat, like 150K to teach the Bay. Like we got that offered to us early on, and we were like, we don't really want that though.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Why would we want you to just teach us everything? And I think what it should be is like, I'll show you how to get a thermite, like we did within GTA or like in Red Dead. It's like you said,
Ethan.
I think if you're like, there might be a guy in a back alley somewhere in Saint Denis that you can talk to. You know what I mean? So they go search Saint Denis. You at least have one piece of the map to search versus like all of freaking, state of McAllister or whatever,
Yeah. But the way I would do it, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, I think we just have like a different mindset, but like all of us really like helping new people. Like if you look at GTA, like every like arc that we had was like more focused on the people not in the gang kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like looking at it, I would, if we had like something like opium or whatever it is, like I already know that we're going to make it a full, like 3-layered kind of business. You know, you have these kind of people working in this. You have a new crew working. You know what I mean? Like I already know we're gonna do something like that. It's kind of like, even if someone was like, "How do I get a lockpick?" I would more be like, do these like few things over a day or two, and then maybe I'll show you like what town it's in, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that.
Or even like giving them like some lockpicks for like a deed that they got to go do something with you. You
bring
know,
this wagon here, even if it means
or even
nothing,
like you know like what we did with today with Ringo, where we had to ride across the whole goddamn like map.
The world,
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like literally across the whole map. You're like,
yeah,
like
for sure.
personally, I mean I think that's a good thing to do. Like if you're like, okay, like you can get to know the person, you know that they're not like, your character knows they're not gonna screw them over, and it makes sense in character, you know. But yeah, the whole like, I don't know. Bye.
I don't know, man. Get lost. You know what I mean? Like you know, like the whole like I'm gonna rob you just because you're trying to investigate.
Hearing from people in GTA, they literally said, "Well, why would I want you to rob the banks that I want to rob?" I'm like, that's crazy, right? Like, all right, I guess. I mean, yeah, you know. So, but I think that's if there's nothing else on that, I think that's all of our questions, boys. I think we did like. I look over the clock and we're at like an hour and 36 minutes. So, absolutely awesome, man. I appreciate you guys, man. And I think it's been really cool to see you guys like, I don't know, just swinging for the fences with these characters. And I'm like already way too invested in like seeing where things go. And I know a lot of people watching are as well. So I appreciate you guys. Letting me create with you and everything.